Steve.
What?
Have you seen the injury report this week?
I've seen some of it. I mean, there was definitely some injuries. So
Get a piece of paper and a pen and write this down.
All right, I got paper.
Are you ready? Here we go.
Okay.
San Francisco, no Nick Bosa, out for the season, ACL. New York Giants, Saquon Barkley, ACL. Carolina, Christian McCaffrey, high ankle sprain. Denver, Drew Lock, sprained AC joint. Denver, Courtland Sutton, ACL. San Francisco, Jimmy Garoppolo, high ankle sprain. Green Bay, Davante Adams, hamstring. Baltimore, Tavon Young, knee. There's a lot of knee injuries, by the way. Indianapolis, Malik Hooker, Achilles. Washington, Brandon Scherff with his knee. Miami, Byron Jones.
Can you start over?
What's the problem?
Well, hey, nothing really. I just can't write that fast.
Oh, my gosh.
Nevertheless, there was a lot of injuries this week.
3 in San Francisco alone. 3 also in with the Jets.
Well, yeah, and you know what? That's something we should talk about right now.
Okay.
The Jets in San Francisco. Now, this here is a big deal because this is the second week a lot of players have been injured in the Meadowlands. On that field.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And a lot of people are saying, and they even brought NFL experts to check the field because they said it was unacceptable. A lot of the San Francisco players said that field was totally unacceptable to play on.
You sure they're not talking about Lambeau?
No, they're talking about the Meadowlands. Now,
Wait, isn't that like a newer stadium?
well, it's not that old. 10 years maybe?
Okay, that's
But
what
still
I'm saying.
not-
It's
it's
not
still-
like 30 years old.
Exactly, like Lambeau Field.
Right.
So I'm just saying that a lot of controversy going on there because a lot of players are getting injured in the Meadowlands. Is that coincident or field conditions? And when a lot of teams are complaining about the field conditions, it's definitely something, and they have been checking into that. I don't know who's playing there this week, the Jets or the Giants, but someone's playing in that stadium. And if a bunch of people get hurt,
oh, boy.
now you could tie this all together by saying this. Player safety has been a big concern of the NFL. First, you had that big concussion thing. Everybody was talking about concussions. You had, and how do they do that? Well, they changed some of the rules on the kickoff. Remember, it used to be on the 20-yard line. Now the ball gets placed on the 25 when it goes in the end zone. They stopped the running kickoff, which made that Atlanta-Dallas game even more so egregious because they can't run, get a running start to try to get to that 10 yards before the other team who's sitting right there waiting for the ball.
Right.
So, onside kicks are not very it doesn't happen all the time. We get the onside kick. Everybody assumes you're going to get the onside kick. No, it doesn't happen. Most of the time, the other team gets it. But now with that rule in place to help with the concussions and all that other stuff, it's almost impossible to get an onside kick. Dallas got lucky for sure. But these injuries are mounting up.
Dallas did not get lucky. The Falcons just blew that. They should have known we went through this already. They should have known the rule.
Okay. Okay. Well, let's get to these injuries.
There was 6. Count them. 6 injuries in knee injuries.
And just in that game.
No. 6 knee injuries throughout the league.
Okay, I get it, but I'm saying 6 injuries, 3 on the Jets, 3 on the Niners. They played in New York. That's 6 players getting injured on that field alone.
You had Nick Bosa, you had Jimmy Garoppolo, and then you had Raheem Mostert.
I get it, but what about Carolina? Christian McCaffrey, he's got a high ankle sprain. That's not going to be good. Carolina's in a lot of trouble. There's a lot of teams out there. That have promise.
Yes.
Everybody always goes with the big teams. Oh, well, the Packers are always going to be there. Oh, the Steelers are always going to be there. Oh, the Patriots this. Oh, Tampa Bay's got all these players now. Oh, the Drew Brees and all the Cowboys have got all these players. Sometimes it's a team, and every year this happens.
Okay.
There's always a team that gets to the Super Bowl nobody thinks is going to get there. And that's why I went with the Seattle Seahawks for my Super Bowl pick in the NFC. Because nobody's picking them. They're picking Tampa Bay. They're picking the Saints. They're picking the Cowboys. They're picking the Packers. They forgot about the Seattle Seahawks. They're a very good team. Now, they're going to improve over the year. They do have some problems, but they're going to improve. They're not going to go.
You could say that about any team.
That's true. But and preseason, it didn't help.
I know.
A lot of teams look unprepared. I still don't think Tampa Bay is got it together yet. I will tell you,
Tampa looked a lot better this week than they did last week.
I will tell you, a team is going to shock a lot of people.
I'm listening.
The Jacksonville Jaguars.
You've been saying that for like how many years now?
Well, okay. I said it for a lot of years, but it wasn't true. But this year it's going to be true. Now, I'm not saying the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to go 11-5 or 10-6 or anything like that.
8-8.
But this Minshew kid has.
You've been talking about him.
I am rooting for this guy because
I know you are.
Because who cared about him in the draft? No one gave the kid a chance. He is balling. He is playing great. I'm watching him throw that football like, man. I'm like, he's accurate. He's got mobility. He's got guts. He's got grits. He's got determination. And then he's got this Robinson kid, this little 5'9" guy, zooming in and out of big tackles. You know, but Jacksonville is going to sneak up some people. Do not sleep on this team. I would see them upsetting some big teams. I bet they play the Steelers twice. I think they're going to beat them. They're going to beat them one of those two games. The Jaguars are going to beat the Steelers. I don't know when they're going to do it. But I'd be willing to bet you. They're going to beat them. One of the two games, I wouldn't surprise me if they beat the Ravens. And now that the Ravens are my Super Bowl pick, I know I'm getting a lot of flack for that. But I made an honest mistake. I am sorry. I made an honest mistake. I did this right after week 1. I forgot. I tried to come up. Jason says, I got to stick with the Chiefs. No, the Chiefs are not going to the Super Bowl. The Baltimore Ravens are going to the Super Bowl. Now, who's going to win between the Ravens and the Seahawks? I'll tell you that later on in the year when my predictions come true. And I should get extra points.
When his predictions come true. Y'all heard it right here.
When?
You heard it here first. When his predictions come true. What if they don't?
I don't know. Davante Adams out for Green Bay. Who's Aaron Rodgers going to throw the ball to? Who's he going to throw the ball to? There's just so many players that are sick and out. Well, they opted out for COVID, but they're injured. Tyrod Taylor. Has anybody heard the controversy with him?
No.
They said he had some broken ribs. That's why he didn't play. That's why they put Justin Herbert in there. Herbert, I can't even say his last name. The kid from the Chargers, the rookie that came in and played amazing in that Charger game against the Chiefs. He was freaking on fire. Now, that could be luck. Beginner's luck. They weren't prepared for him. They were prepared for Tyrod Taylor. It could be luck. But I'm going to tell you, if he plays like that this week. But anyways, getting back to Tyrod Taylor, he had 3 cracked ribs. And then it was released just the other day that the doctor made a mistake and somehow injected him with a painkiller to help him with his ribs and the pain and punctured his lung.
Oh, my gosh.
And I'm thinking that doctor, he's in trouble.
Yeah,
he's in trouble like the Atlanta Falcons coaches. I mean, your quarterback. I'm sorry. I punctured his lung. If that
was he paid off by the other team?
No, I'm just saying. Look, if that would have happened to Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, what do you think would happen to that doctor?
That would be all over
He's
ESPN.
Done. He's done. And the fact.
Do you have a fork? Stick a fork in that doctor. He's done.
Well, what happens? They lose a bunch of games, okay, because they don't have the. Now I'm just saying. We hold doctors to the highest standard, and I get that. And these NFL teams, look, you think they got shitty doctors. They don't.
They have very, very, very good.
Because they need those players on the field.
Absolutely.
So they got to have these star players on the field. And you're talking about Tyrod Taylor. I'm not saying he's, one of the best quarterbacks in the league, but he is their quarterback. Okay? You got to have a guy with experience behind the helm. At least you want to try to do that. There are exceptions to the rule where a kid comes in, like in Cincinnati Bengals case. I mean, Joe Burrow is lighting it up. This is his first year. He's playing with the Bengals, for God's sake. But what if he got a punctured lung because a doctor screwed up? I mean, that doctor's toast. That doctor is toast. You can't make these kind of critical mistakes if you're a doctor for an NFL team without keeping your job. How do you go to the coach? How do you go to the owner and say,
by the way, I'm sorry. I made a mistake.
I'm sorry you're paying this guy $46 million, but they punctured his lung. He's out 6 weeks. I mean, how are you going to do that?
You can't do an oops. Like, they should find a doctor to $46 million.
Well, I don't know. All I know is that there's so many big injuries out there. If you're a fantasy player, first off, I have to make an apology because Jason is the one that does the fantasy segment.
Yes.
And unfortunately, he's not here. Now, he did send me a text. Let me see if I can read this text While you talk about the injuries going on here, let me pull this text up here.
Let's see. Where did I stop?
I don't know where you stopped.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Okay.
I got it. Prediction of the week, Miles Sanders runs all over the big cats for 120 yards and 2 TDs. That's coming from Jason. He said he was awful against the spread. We'll talk about that in our show there. But, he's got his picks here. We're going to be doing all this, going over his picks. And we're going to do that in just a few minutes. But a lot of injuries out there. If you're a fantasy player, you might run it.
I'll post the injury list.
You
in
might
the description.
You might want to rethink your entire roster.
Oh my gosh!
Because a lot of stars went down. But we got some picks. We're going to talk about that.
Yes.
Week 3 picks
coming up.
Expert picks, and I'm going to do an upset pick that's going to blow your